Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board certified psychiatrist. It's been a while since I've actually detailed the principles of Forgive to Win, my book Forgive to Win, End Self Sabotage, Get Everything You Want. Sounds pretty bold, get everything you want. Big claim. Well, obviously, not everybody is going to get everything they want through using the principles in my book Forgive to Win, but it's possible. Obviously, there are many variables, there are many reasons why people may succeed or not succeed. But in my opinion, integrating forgiveness, acceptance, love, compassion, letting go of judgment, resentments, grievances, and attack thoughts, all of this is going to get you closer to getting everything you want. Because many people sabotage themselves and actually get in their own way, and it's not about bad luck that they don't get what they want, it's about self-sabotage that they don't get what they want. Okay, so oftentimes the key to success isn't necessarily having a great success system, because there are 10 trillion self-help books about success and happiness and personal empowerment, etc. And they're brilliant, and they and they are universal spiritual principles, universal material principles of reality manifestation. You know, it's all there to be had. It's all there to be done. Yeah, but people don't follow through. First of all, they may buy the book and then don't even bother reading it, or they'll read certain parts of it, or there'll be a certain program that they're supposed to follow and they don't really follow it, or they do follow it but then they give up before they really integrate these principles into their lives and make habits of them. So people get in their own way, and they can have great tools, they can have great systems, they can have great therapists and mentors and life coaches, but the key is they have to follow through. They have to completion, and oftentimes they sabotage themselves. And so the question is, well, how do you get people to stop sabotaging themselves? The premise that I follow is this: if you are sabotaging yourself, if you are blocking yourself from getting the things that you want, whether it's happiness, health, a relationship, money, a career, if you are blocking yourself, if you are sabotaging yourself, if you are holding yourself back, if you are procrastinating and not doing the things that are in your best interest, that will get you where you want to go, then, well, why would somebody do that? Let's make the analogy. If you were kicking yourself, if you were slapping yourself in the face, and punching yourself in the stomach, and and clawing at your skin, why would somebody do that? I mean, well, logic would tell us they must not like themselves. If they're attacking themselves, they must not like themselves. Well, the same thing is true of self-sabotaging behaviors. It's a form of attack. You're attacking yourself. You're blocking yourself. You're trying to hinder yourself. You're throwing obstacles in your way. Well, why would you do that? You must not like yourself. And oftentimes it's on a deeply embedded unconscious level, where there's a tremendous amount of guilt, shame, and self-loathing. And so how does this translate into self-sabotaging behavior? Okay, so the premise is, if you're sabotaging yourself, then you must not like yourself. If you don't like yourself, there must be deeply embedded guilt, shame, and self-loathing in your unconscious mind that is making your subconscious mind think that you're not worthy and good enough. And so it is going to send you subliminal messages and and other types of inner critic messages to discourage you from going forward. And it will use the law of attraction to attract people, places, and circumstances that will not synergize with your goals, but will actually interfere with your goals and best interests. Okay, so it's the deeply embedded guilt, shame, and self-loathing that causes the subconscious mind to think you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're a sinner, you're bad, you're evil, you're undeserving of reward and success, and in truth, you're deserving of punishment and failure. So it's going to, engineer that and manifest that in your life. Okay, so how do you turn that around? Well, if guilt, shame, and self-loathing are causing the self-sabotaging behaviors, then you need to forgive yourself, and you need to love yourself. And if you can forgive yourself and love yourself sufficiently, consistently, you will be repeatedly sending the message to your subconscious mind that you are worthy, you are good enough, you are deserving and loving, and then it will work for you rather than against you. It'll stop helping you to sabotage yourself. It will help you to manifest. It'll help you to attract people, places, and circumstances that will help you rather than hinder you. So how does that work? How does it actually work that you love yourself and forgive yourself? Do you sit in your room and chant, "I love myself, I forgive myself, I love myself, I forgive myself"? Well, those things can help, but they're not going to be enough. No. The interesting thing about this system is that the way you love yourself and forgive yourself in order to first of all, get rid of all your resentments and and anger towards others, but also in order to manifest the things that you want in your life by ending self-sabotaging behaviors. The way you love yourself and forgive yourself is to love and forgive others. Okay. Now, the way this works is when we judge others, when we are critical of others, when we attack others in any way, and judgments are a form of attack, even if we're not even telling them that we're judging them. When we judge others harshly, what we're actually doing is projecting our own aspects of our own selves that we don't admire, that we don't like, that we feel guilty and bad about. And we're seeing it in other people rather than seeing it in ourselves. It's a defense mechanism, so we won't feel bad about who we are and what we do. So we see it in other people, and we point our fingers at other people, and we attack other people and blame other people and see other people as the problem and not us. So that's how we feel kind of clean, by seeing everybody else as the problem, everybody else as evil, everybody else, they're the hypocrites, they're the liars, they're the thieves, they're the people who misrepresent, they're the people who are inconsiderate, they're the people who are unloving, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so everything's a projection. When you are attacking and judging harshly other people, you are really just projecting your own crap onto them. Okay, so therefore, if you choose to overlook negative stuff in people, if you choose to accept other people, if you choose to forgive other people, if you choose to be of service to other people, to help them as best you can, to be generous without thinking of getting anything in return, without exceptions, with no conditions. If you are of service to others, if you give to others, you engage in esteemable acts of kindness towards others, and you love others and accept others and forgive others, what you're doing is you're basically healing your projections. You're actually healing your projections. You're actually forgiving yourself. You're accepting yourself. You're loving yourself. So that's the whole key to this whole business, is loving and forgiving others in order to love and forgive yourself, so you'll get out of your own way and stop sabotaging yourself. Okay, so what I did in my book Forgive to Win is to create a forgiveness diet, and basically it's a regimen, a daily regimen of thoughts and behaviors designed to help you to create the habit of forgiving, the habit of accepting, the habit of letting go of judgments, the habit of being generous, the habit of being of service to others, of engaging in inestimable acts of kindness towards others. You've got to create a habit. Right now, we're all in a default mode. Our default mode is to be contracted, to feel separate from other people, to feel lack, to feel that we have to hang on and clutch to what we've got, because if they have more, we'll have less. So there's this whole greed and fear, this whole business. It all has to go away, and it goes away by practicing the principles of forgiveness and service to others. Okay, so you have a bad habit, you have a default mode of behaving in a contracted, selfish, inconsiderate, thoughtless way, and you need to change that. You need to become expansive and loving and generous and charitable and kind. You need to engage in the golden rule of treating other people as you wish to be treated. So it's just habit formation. It's operant behavioral conditioning. You change one behavior to another, and then the results change, the outcomes change. Your life gets better. Okay, so that's the key to the forgiveness diet, is you practice it every day as best you can, and over time you will see results. You will feel have more self-esteem. You will be happier. You will be healthier. You will have better options and outcomes in your life. But it requires persistence, patience, commitment, motivation, sticking to the forgiveness diet. Okay, so the forgiveness diet has forgiveness has a bunch of components. The protein in the forgiveness diet consists of the forgiveness, forgiving others, and being of service to others, estimable acts of kindness towards others. So that's the protein, that's the building block, that's the key. The key to loving and forgiving yourself is to love and forgive others, so you engage in estimable acts of kindness towards others, again, without exception. You don't say, I'm going to be kind to you, but not to you. You know, I'm going to be generous to you, but not to you. It needs to be across the board, no matter what. And there can be no conditions. It's not, you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. You're doing it because you want to do it. Ironically, it's really a selfish thing to do. To forgive and love others selflessly, without wanting anything in return, is ironically a selfish thing to do, because you do get things in return. That's the irony of it, is you feel really good about yourself. You build your self-esteem. You eliminate your own deeply embedded guilt, shame, and self-loathing. People want to be around you more. People want to work with you more. People want to help you more. People will like you more because you're getting out of yourself. You're getting out of your ego. You're being kind and generous. So that's what you want, the building blocks: forgiveness and service to others. And the forgiveness also, without exception and without conditions. You don't say, I'll forgive you, but you need to be nice to me. Or I'll forgive you, and whether you're nice to me or not, whether you're gracious to me or not, that has nothing to do with it. It would be nice, but that has nothing to do with it. I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to free myself. And that's an interesting point that I want to share with you about forgiveness, is many people resist forgiving. And in the book, I talk about ways to overcome one's resistance to forgiving. But many people resist forgiving because they feel that it's weak. They feel that it's sending the message to the perpetrator that you're somehow okay being a victim, that you're placing yourself in a vulnerable position of possibly being abused and victimized again. People think that I'm not going to forgive that person because they deserve to feel my wrath. They deserve to feel guilty and shamed. They deserve to feel the punishment of me disapproving them and not liking them and not forgiving them. Okay, so people have a tremendous resistance to forgiving, but the irony is, and the tragic confusion about this is that when you choose to not forgive others, you are keeping yourself in an emotional prison. You are hanging on to your resentments. You are hanging on to your grievances. You are hanging on to your hurt and your pain, your anger, all of this stuff. They're not losing any sleep over what they've done to you. You are, and you're losing sleep long after the victimization has happened. You're carrying it with you. You're bringing the past into the present and continually victimizing yourself long after no longer being a victim. You think you're keeping them in an emotional prison, but you're really keeping yourself in an emotional prison, keeping yourself stuck in negativity, anger, fear, etc. So that's why you want to forgive. You want to forgive, not just because it'll help you to end self-sabotaging behaviors, but you want to forgive because it will free you of tremendous emotional pain and anguish and suffering that is just making you miserable. I mean, if you've got resentments and grievances and jealousies and attack thoughts, in your mind, and where you have thoughts of bitterness and resentment and anger, etc., forever, every day, and on some level, you're just causing yourself pain, living in an emotional hell that you can free yourself from just by choosing to let go of the judgments, let go of the resentments, and truly, unconditionally forgive and release your resentment, release your hurt, release your victimhood. Okay, so we've talked about spiritual protein. The building blocks of the forgiveness diet are the estimable acts of kindness, service to others, and forgiving others. Okay? Now, In a regular diet, you want to try to stay away from sugar. The spiritual sugar, you also want to stay away from. Spiritual sugar is ridicule, sarcasm, practical jokes, spreading gossip and rumors about people. These make your ego feel good. These make you feel superior. In the moment, it's kind of sweet to be able to like sting people and feel like more important than them, and that you've pulled a fast one on them or used them as a butt of your joke. This makes you feel good in the moment. In the long run, you don't like yourself for it. In the long run, you loathe yourself for it. You feel guilt and shame over being a bully. Now, you may not consciously be aware of any of this, but on an unconscious level, that's how you feel. So you really are just attacking yourself when you act like a bully, when you ridicule, gossip, sarcasm, etc. You're just really hurting yourself and diminishing yourself, and it will be reflected in your life in some way. You most likely are not going to achieve as much as you would like to achieve. In some way, this is going to hold you back. If not in this life, then in the next. So you want to cut down on the spiritual sugar. You want to just stop those behaviors. You also want to get rid of spiritual fat. You know, fat clogs the arteries. Spiritual fat clogs the spiritual arteries. Spiritual fat is judgments, grievances, resentments, attack thoughts, jealousies. You want to stop doing this. You want to let them go. You want to overlook stuff in people. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. You want to see the good in people despite how they're behaving. You don't want to demonize people simply because they do certain things that you don't like or approve of. You want to try to see the best in people. You want to try to see the Christ in people, so to speak, where Christ symbolizes forgiveness, acceptance, love, compassion, generosity, charity, etc. So you want to eliminate your judgments, your harsh attack thoughts towards others. That's the spiritual fat. You want to get rid of that. You want to do a calorie count, right? In a regular diet, you do a calorie count to see how you did that day, how many if you ate too much or not. In the forgiveness diet, we do a forgiveness diet inventory at night. Before you go to bed, you take 5 minutes. You think about how you behaved during the day. Were you kind? Were you generous? Were you compassionate? Were you giving? Or were you contracted and withholding? Did you try to help people, or were there some people you didn't want to help and could have? Are there some people you could have been more accepting and loving and forgiving and you weren't? So you do an inventory of your behavior, how you did that day. You don't beat yourself up over it if you did some things that were unloving and thoughtless and selfish. You just make a note. Yeah, I don't want to be that way. I want to do better tomorrow. And then in the morning, you review your forgiveness diet inventory from the night before to remind yourself of what you want to do when you go out the door that morning, how you want to behave, how you want to be. So you do this forgiveness inventory at night, and then in the day, you try to be better. Every diet needs to have fiber. Well, spiritual fiber isn't tricky stuff. It's spiritual fiber is moral fiber. Spiritual fiber is doing the right thing. Spiritual fiber is, saying what you mean, meaning what you say, follow through and do what you say you're going to do, be honorable, be ethical, take responsibility for your actions and mistakes, make amends when possible, tell the truth, right? Tell the truth. We also have spiritual water. Now, in a regular diet, people talk about, you should have 8 glasses of water a day because water helps the digestive system, helps the metabolism, etc. So spiritual water helps you to remember the truth throughout the day. So, for example, it's easy to fall back into unconsciousness. You get up in the morning, you decide, yes, I'm going to be forgiving and loving and accepting. I'm not going to be judgmental, etc. And then you go out there and you kind of forget and you fall back and you lapse into into old behaviors. So if throughout the day you remind yourself of key things that you want to remember, to ground you, to anchor you, then this is the spiritual water. So I advise people, like, every hour, hour and a half, to have some sort of mantra that they repeat. So, for example, one of them is anger hurts, forgiveness heals. So if every hour you just remind yourself, it just takes a few seconds, anger hurts, forgiveness heals. Anger hurts, forgiveness heals. Anger hurts, forgiveness heals. You say that throughout the day, right? Then what happens is, then at some point, someone says something or does something that really pisses you off, that gets you really angry, and you're about to go ballistic. Maybe you're about to start screaming. Who knows what your normal default mode is? And suddenly, like, it occurs to you, wait a second. Anger hurts me. Forgiveness heals me. And then it'll help you to not get angry. Angry is okay as a signal device telling you that you've been hurt or injured or threatened, but it's the expression of anger that becomes extremely dysfunctional, like yelling and hitting and throwing things. So, and anger is an attack. Even when you feel justified, even when you feel that you have been injured and that your anger is appropriate, nonetheless, it's an attack. And what's best is to step back when you're angry and to go, okay, what am I angry about? How do I feel I was maligned or disrespected or minimized or threatened? Okay, what do I want to do about it? Can I let it go? Can I accept it and let it go and not make a big deal about it and not even bring it up and just decide? Sometimes loving people say stupid, inconsiderate, unloving things. Or do I need to draw a line in the sand? Do I need to say something? Well, if I do need to say something, if I feel a need to say that was uncool, I didn't like that, I would appreciate you not doing that, then you take the time to be calm and figure out the best wording, the best way to say what you want to say so that it will be heard and so that the relationship can thrive and survive possibly. So you want to stop and think how to channel that anger into the most effective form of communication. Yelling is not an effective form of communication, by the way. In a moment, it may help you to manipulate somebody to do what you want, but it has consequences and repercussions which come back and boomerang on you and everybody else. So it's just not good. There's a reason why, anger management is a thriving industry. Yeah, anger hurts, forgiveness heals. That's a mantra that we can use throughout the day so that when we do get angry, it helps to ground us and center us and bring us back to a place of calm so we don't act out and are reactive and do something or say something that's impulsive and reckless and thoughtless and hurtful. So we also have supplements in the forgiveness diet. Just like we have vitamin supplements in a regular diet, the supplements in the forgiveness diet are all designed to help you to forgive, to be of service to others. And so there are affirmations that we talk about. There are visualization exercises that are discussed. There's lucid dreaming exercises that are discussed, and there's even something called synchronistic contemplations, where you try to take a moment to do an exercise of reviewing your day and thinking about the coincidences that happened in your day, good or bad. Obstacles or successes, and you try to see how the universe sort of brought people together. There are certain signs and symbols, just like in dreams. There are symbols in dreams that we can use to sort of better understand our psyche and ourselves. So too, there are sort of symbols in the people that we meet and the things that happen that can help us to understand ourselves better and help us to be more effective. So that's sort of a long, short form of the principles of Forgive to Win and the forgiveness diet. All I can say to you is, oh, by the way, there are also, there are rating scales in the book that help you to rate, and so that you can actually objectively see the success and the progress you're making. So the bottom line really is this: hanging on to grievances and resentments and victimhood. It hurts you. Getting out of your ego, forgiving, loving, accepting others, being of service to others, helping others as best you can. It helps you. It heals you. It heals your soul. It heals your spirit. It heals your karma. And the beauty of it is, it makes the law of attraction work for you. It helps you to stop sabotaging yourself, and it increases your chance of attracting abundance, joy, happiness, sustainable relationships, health, etc. into your life. All right. Thanks. Take care. Peace be with you.